How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Oh Brother Comics. I hope you're all having a great weekend. Today, Nick, Matt, and I are going to be going over our 10 in 10 review video. That's the video where we take 10 books that came out this last Wednesday, we go ahead and we read them, and then we give you our thoughts on them. But we try and get this done in 10 minutes or less, so I better stop wasting time and head over right to Nick and see where we're going to start off this week. What do you got for us, bro?
All right, so first up for me is A Thing Called Truth #1 by Image Comics. This is written by Yolanda Zanfardino and illustrated by Eliza Romboli. So I am really looking forward to seeing where this story goes. I really enjoyed this issue. The main character, Magdalene, is such a relatable person, dedicating her life to her job and her research, only to be shut out by the greed of the people running the company that she works for. So the writer does an amazing job with her drunken spiral after getting kicked out of her job. And the art is just so good, so perfect for the writing style. I love the over-exaggerated art style. It's almost anime-esque, but still manages to stay realistic. I rated this at a 4.4 out of 5, and I definitely recommend picking this issue up.
What's up, everyone? How you doing? The next book we will be talking about is Star Wars number 18 by Marvel. The writer is Charles Soule, and the artist is Raymond Rosanas. This was a really great issue. The last few stories in the War of the Bounty Hunters run has been a lot of action, explosion, lasers. I've been really liking it. People are going toe to toe. But this issue was a lot of dialogue, which typically has just for me personally, has a hard time holding my attention. However, this is a conversation that I've been dying to see, that I've been waiting for since the beginning of this run. We finally get Leia meeting and talking to Kira in a very extended dialogue. I've been waiting for this moment. I could see it play out hundreds of different ways in my very imaginative mind. But this book was really good. I was really stoked on it. It did not disappoint. I give this book a 4-1, and I think it's a book that every Star Wars fan should have in their collection.
First book I reviewed is Primordial #2. It's written by Jeff Lemire and art is by Andrea Sorrentino. This was a very quick read, but we got a lot of great backstory about Laika, the dog that Russia sent up to space during the space race. Here we get to see where she was picked up off the streets and delivered to her handler Yelena. From there, we get a couple pages where we get to see their bond up until Laika is sent into space. One of the really cool things that I thought about this book was we get to see the entities that are in space that picked up these animals that the story's about. At one point, we see that it reaches out and touches Laika, and you see a change in her eyes, which I think brings consciousness to her. The sad part is, from there, we see that she's just left in this white room all alone until Abel and Baker show up once the US sends them up into space. Even though this issue was quite short, I was quite intrigued, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Jeff Lemire has in store for us. Overall, I really enjoyed this, and I think Sorrentino's art definitely complements this book. I rated this a 3.8 out of 5.
Up next for me is Star Wars Bounty Hunters #17 by Marvel Comics. This is written by Ethan Sachs and illustrated by Paolo Villanelli. This is a War of the Bounty Hunters tie-in, and last we saw in the War of the Bounty Hunters mainline finale, Valance was blown up and left for dead by Boba Fett on the Executor. This issue starts right where that issue left off, and Valance is badly injured but is able to use his cybernetics to fend off waves of stormtroopers. And the other bounty hunters are in a ship outside of the Executor, and they are attempting to save him, but something else stands in their way. And man, this story is going to get a whole lot more interesting. I really enjoyed this issue. It definitely picked up because for a while there, it was kind of dragging. But I rated this issue at a 4.0 out of 5, and let's hope that they keep this up.
Okay, the next book that we will be talking about is Orphan and the Five Beasts #3 by Dark Horse. It is written and illustrated by James Stocco. This story was super entertaining. I absolutely love the art style. I love the psychedelic, distorted, scratchy, and colorful look. That type of art always grabs my eye. Story moves really fast and you got to keep up. I'm enjoying it so far. All the characters are really fun, and I really find myself admiring James's talent in creating this world. It's very graphic and twisted, but the same way it just makes me laugh out loud. It's very witty and fun. It's very exaggerated. It has a lot of comedic flair, but it's still like a good action story. I give this book a warped 3.4. Just a really, really fun read.
The next book in this review is The Me You Love in the Dark #4. It's written by Scotty Young and art is by George Corona. I am loving this book. It's definitely taking a quick, dark turn in this issue though. Ro has definitely fallen farther into a relationship with this creature or being, whoever is in this house. We still don't quite know, and anyone that's been in a bad relationship can see these just signs and red flags of a bad relationship spiraling out of control, and we get to see some really creepy, spooky stuff that's coming from this entity. Scotty Young definitely has a hit on his hands with this, and George Corona's art is so beautifully done and definitely complements this book. We only have one more issue in this story, so I have no idea where it's going to go, but I can definitely kind of guess, and maybe just throwing this out there, I think that it's not going to be a happy ending. I could see this ending on a cliffhanger and just maybe the house is looking for their next victim after. Don't quote me on that. We'll have to see this next month when it comes out. This was my pick of the week. I rated it a solid 4.5 out of 5.
All right, third up for me is The Heathens #1 by Aftershock. This is written by Cullen Bunn and Heath Amodio and illustrated by Sami Kivela. I have to say, Cullen Bunn can create an amazing story. This is such an original story, and I am completely loving it. This issue introduces the Heathens, a group of dead, violently infamous individuals who are promised freedom if they are able to complete a series of missions from what I'm assuming is like purgatory or some kind of middle dimension between heaven and hell. And the middleman in charge of this particular dimension is Stalin. I rated this at a 4.6 out of 5, and I really, really am enjoying this story.
The next book that we'll be talking about is Knighted #1, and the company is Artists, Writers, and Artisan Incorporated. The writer is Greg Hurwitz, and the artist is Mark Texiera. The book was really, really awesome. I love all the different play on heroes that we're getting, like all the different type of versions of like Superman that we're getting. There's always these different versions of Batman, and this is one of those books where it's kind of a different version of Batman. The book has a lot of dark humor that obviously plays on the Dark Knight, and the way that Bob, the main character, takes the mantle of the Knight is absolutely hilarious. I give this book an admiring 4.2. Like I said, it is my pick of the week, and I cannot wait to see how the rest of this series unfolds.
Alright guys, the next book I reviewed this week was The Human Target #1. It's written by Tom King and art is by Greg Smallwood. This was really a great start to one of Tom King's detective mystery stories, and it follows Christopher Chance, otherwise known as the Human Target, who's hired by Lex Luthor to impersonate Lex in a possible foiling of an assassination attempt on his life. Unfortunately, it seems that someone has it out for Christopher and has poisoned his coffee the morning before. Dr. Midnight goes through and investigates the poison and gives Christopher unfortunate news that he only has 12 days to live as long as he takes these pills that he's given him. During his investigation, he also finds and uncovers some startling evidence that the Justice League International team may be behind this attack. Could this be just an elaborate setup from Lex? We're not really sure, and we have 12 issues to find out. I did enjoy this story. I rated it a 3.8 out of 5.
Last up for me is Last Flight Out #3. This is a 6-part miniseries by Dark Horse Comics. This is written by Mark Guggenheim and illustrated by Eduardo Ferrigato. So this is an amazing story. It has had me engaged with every panel, more so than I think any other book out there right now. The suspense, the action, the impending doom, and constant reminder of time ticking down just makes for such a good story. The art is great. Ferrigato does an amazing job of portraying the emotion through each person's facial expressions. So let's get down to my rating. I rated this at a 4.6 out of 5, and this is absolutely my pick of the week.
Well, all right, everyone, that's going to do it for this week's 10 and 10 review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this list we put together, and hopefully you guys picked some of these books up. Definitely leave us a comment down below and let us know what you guys have been reading and thought about some of the books that you read this last week. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in the world of comics, and it's so tough to keep up on everything, but we love talking to you guys and hearing what you guys think about it. If you enjoyed this video, also consider giving us a like on this video. It really helps us out a lot. And if you're not subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button, because we're always looking to bring out new content every week for you guys. Well, thank you again for watching, guys. We'll see you later this week. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good one.